What's up, guys? My name's Ed. This is Marissa, and this is Distant Critics. Today, we're talking about the series Squid Games 2. Now, before we get into it, we're going to let you guys know that this review will contain some spoilers. So, by all means, go ahead, go on Netflix, steal your friend's password, and watch the show. Come back to the comments. Let us know what you thought about the show in the comments down below. Now, without further ado, Marissa, can you let us know about the plot?
Hundreds of cash-strapped contestants accept an invitation to compete in children's games for a tempting prize, but the stakes are deadly.
So, Marissa, I don't know if you remember how viral this series was when it first came out because everyone was talking about it. We have never seen anything like this series before. And now here we are with season 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because they actually were not thinking about making a season 2 until it went viral.
Yes, and now there's going to be a season 3. We do know that.
2025.
But before we get into that, I want to know what you thought about season 2.
Well, let me just say the Squid Game series is absolutely amazing. I love this whole series, and I was waiting for season 2. I even posted on my Snapchat when it was just about to, air out or film or whatever, the release date, and was like, Squid Game 2 is coming out. Like, everyone get ready. So I was really anticipating it and stuff like that. Look, I don't really know how to pronounce their names and stuff, so I'm just gonna say player 456, the main player, makes that U-turn at the airport, right? And that's when you know, like, it's about to go down.
Can I just say, I'm so glad they changed the red hair right back to, like, his
Oh,
hair.
so am I.
I was like, why the hell would they dye his hair red? Like, I know he's trying to, like, blend in, but that's not the way you blend in.
That's not how you blend in. I don't think he was trying to blend in.
Or,
I
like,
think he was trying to be something, like, different,
Yeah.
like, I won all this money, I survived, everything like this. Like, let me go ahead and go big and go out with my
Feel
hair.
something.
No, but and then he intensifies his search for the recruiter, right? So that's like the main beginning of this film, is him searching for the recruiter. A lot of people are talking about how much he aged in this, and it is a 3-year difference. But truly, like, you and I were talking about this, and truly, I take it, if we're taking it from a standpoint of the show, that he was so stressed out trying to find this recruiter that it just takes a toll on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I say that's how he aged in this film.
That's a really good series. That's a really good point because just like a president only does a 4-year term, but really they age as if it was like 10 years had just passed. So that's a really good point because he was like just nonstop. He barely slept at night. Always had these nightmares and stuff like that. Just if someone's just right behind him watching him the whole time. So, dang, good point.
What do you think? Like, I want to go more into this. Like, I just love this series, but like, what do you think? What's your first initial outcome of this series, or this at least season 2?
I mean, I agree with you. I was really excited for season 2. Season 1, like I said before, it was like something we've never seen before. It was really crazy too, being that it's a foreign type of series where everything's dubbed over in English. So for all these like Americans to just like connect, I guess, with the series so much, I felt like that was the most unique thing about it. And when this season started, like you said, they went in like guns blazing. My favorite thing about this series is the recruiter. They gave him so much more depth in this series. And that dude is so ruthless, and like there's a slight part at the park where you're like, maybe he's not so bad, and then he's just like, nah, I'm a terrible guy. I hated him, which made me love him. And yeah, so far from the beginning, I'll let you take over from here, but from the beginning, I was just like right into it. I was ready, binge watching episode 1, went into episode 2, went into episode 3, and I was one of those people who finished it all in one day.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the high points in this, or some of the scenes that really like was like like what? Let's talk about like the recruiter. Look, I got the hots for the recruiter. I thought he was fantastic, and I've been seeing on social media and everybody's like talking about the recruiter and stuff like that. um he ends up playing his own game, right? Like, I love how he stayed true. Like, you talked about his character and stuff. I love how he stayed true to his own game, and he ends up dying. All right, that's one of the main spoilers. He ends up dying in his own game, but like I said, like the fact that he stayed true to that and played that game, I was like, this dude is crazy.
Like the whole part of that, they're trying to say like main character 456, like he's just lucky and stuff like that. And like the game is roulette, and then finally it landed on him to kill himself. But like it that was supposed to happen the whole time because he had the card in his pocket. So he knew that he was going to die the whole time. So that means that 456 really wasn't that lucky. Am I thinking too far into that?
No, I guess I can see it too.
Right.
I guess I can see it too. Like, you kind of knew it was going to happen and stuff too. And I think the recruiter knew that it was going to happen also.
So, like, did he really play the game, or like he knew? Well, I guess he did. Okay.
Yeah, because he was real crazy with it. He put that thing in his mouth and everything, and he knew something was about to go down.
Yeah.
So very intense scene. Another scene that was pretty crazy. You see his friend, player 456 friend, where they were at the bar in season 1, and he asked him for money, and unfortunately he was like, "Nah, man, I can't give you no money." His friend is in the game.
That's a
crazy. Like, you would have never. I don't know. I would have never guessed that this guy, his friend, would be in the game and stuff like that. And some crazy stuff happens later on, but you know, they do stick close together within the game. They do have a little bit of like betrayal, you know, with him selecting O instead of X and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, their bond grows very deeply in this, and I actually really appreciate seeing their chemistry and their bond.
I agree. I thought that was a really good take to it. Something that they didn't show too much in season 1, but I personally believe Mr. Beast, the YouTuber, his Squid Games.
Oh yeah.
I think Netflix took some of the stuff from his things because he had family members in his show, and they were like doing his version of Squid Games. So I feel like they took some of those elements, put it in this show, like with the mom and son duo, along with bringing his friend in, like someone he actually knows. And I think that was pretty smart to realize, like, a lot of people will resonate with these characters, and like, what do you do when situations happen where you have to choose, is it you or that person that you love so much? Will greed get the best of you? It's a really, really cool concept that I think they adapted to season 2. And also, one of the biggest changes to the game is they allow the players to vote if they want to stop playing the game after they play the game, and everyone splits whatever's in the pot as is, or continue to play until the next game. That just shows like how greedy people are.
I was just about to say, like, you see the greed.
Yes. And then where you think, like, you know, people would be smart and be like, hey, like, I might not make it alive to the next day, their greed just gets the best of them. And it just shows number 0, the guy who's in charge of all of the Squid Games. Also, another spoiler, he's in the games. It just shows, like, he's starting to be right about everything. Of like, it's not him doing it, it's the people doing it to themselves. So it's like one of those like weird psychological things that, like, it doesn't make it right at all of what he's doing, but at the same time they're doing it to themselves.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely doing it to themselves. But I will say, just like you said, so he's actually number 1. And just like season 1, how one of the main guys that sets up the games and stuff was inside the games, the front man joins the games. And I will say, in one of the voting, he was the last one to vote, and he chose O. And I know, like, he wanted that game to keep going. Like, that was like a sign for him to be like, nah, like we gonna keep this going. I'm gonna build this connection with player 456, and we're gonna go from there, kind of thing. So the front man is in the game now, and you'll be shocked when you see him. Now
Which, by
Eduardo
the
and I were
way,
kind of talking. Oh, go ahead.
in season 1, the old man is also number 1 as well.
Yeah.
So like I feel like in the beginning when the main character is like seeing number 1, he has like some reluctance to him to like, warm up to him because he's number 1. I think that also plays a factor into like why he's like so like uptight against like not trusting him at first, but then eventually he like gains his friendship. But,
Yep.
but
It's
yeah,
the same thing. I feel like 456 should have had some kind of like itch about that and been like, nah, like last games.
Yeah, like he thought he was ahead the entire time with people at the substation, with putting a chip in his tooth and stuff like that, taking
Yeah.
the chip out. Like he thought he was ahead of the game. When he realized he was at the game and they switched out the tooth thing, he should have known like all what he thought was reality is out the table, and like someone probably was in the game as well. So
Yep.
that's on him.
Yeah, he thought he was ahead, but unfortunately, like his plan was just kind of dwindling more and more, and it's just not what he thought it was. One thing I do want to clarify. So in the games in season 1, they had a doctor doing the organs and whatnot. This time they brought in their own doctors, and kept bodies alive to take out their organs, to have their organs, and then, they go and transport those, get money off of the organs and stuff like that. Number 11, the soldier number 11. What was her motive? Eduardo, tell me, like, what was going on with her?
She had a job. She had to do her job, and she was ruthless.
But she was doing more than her job because she got attacked because she was killing the live ones.
But that's the thing. They're eliminated. You have to eliminate them. You can't play no favorites out here. So, whoever was in charge, they should have told her like, "Hey, like this is it from the get-go." Even though we tell you this, but that whole thing, I think that's like a backdoor deal going on, right? That's not really part of like, them doing it. So she just wasn't, I don't know, told about that plan from the jump. So their mistake on that, because she is just insane going after everyone.
Well, they did tell her to like stay out of their way and stuff. So then she started like backing off because she was attacked and stuff. But yeah.
Now
I think go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I think now we should start talking a little bit about a few things that we didn't like so much about the show.
Okay, go ahead.
Because there's a lot. I really did like it. It's really strong. Is it as good as the first one? I don't think it is. And I think a lot of it has to do with the games that they're playing.
Yeah.
There's not as many games. I think last season there was 9 episodes. This season there was only 6 or 7. But there's also only like 3 games played, and one of them was a repeat game from the last one. So it's just kind of like that fun of like what's going to be the next thing that they're going to do, like how are they going to get out of it. There's not as much of that. There's more just storytelling and background stories of each person in the game, and I guess they're doing that to just, we all know that there's a season 3, so this season really just feels like a setup for what's to come.
Yeah.
And
they
they
talked about it.
Why?
They I don't remember like what they said, but they did talk about why they broke it up into 2 parts. So they do break the games up into 2 parts. They have some of the games, like 3 games, and then next season they're gonna finish off the games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it, and that makes sense. It's just I always hope that, when you go into a season, you always want to put your best foot forward and not leave stuff for later on, because you don't know if there is a later on. So like, those were like my biggest downfalls for the show. Also, the fisherman dude knew he was sketchy from the front, and then from the jump, the dude that helps him, like when he finds him in the ocean, the driver, fisherman,
the captain. Yeah.
And then a lot of the characters, when it's time to do the whole plan at the end, all of a sudden they have like this. You say I'm a military guy, and then they're just like, yeah, I could do all this super cool stuff, and they just turn into superheroes. Like, bro, like, did the show just turn into like the Fast and Furious, where it's like it starts off like at a consistent basis, and all of a sudden we're here, and like it's a whole out thing.
So you're saying that you didn't really like the part where they took over the games for a little bit?
I get it. I just don't like the transgender woman when she's like, cover me, and like, I got this, carry on, and like just like the words they were saying, it was like, I get it. Like, she was Air Force or something like that.
Special forces.
Special forces.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels so much in that moment. And then the one dude that was like super Joe Marine, and then like he's not shooting.
He froze. I actually like that part because it shows even like when people go out in combat and stuff, like not everyone's all Joe military, like I'm gonna go ahead and start all this and do all this, and some people like freeze up and they don't know what to do. So I like that they showed that.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because he was so much like that in the beginning of the show and like throughout,
Yeah.
and then when it came to that moment, like he was like, yeah, I did all this stuff, and it could be like he was either making all that up and like he's really a scaredy cat, or it's like legit PTSD in those moments when it comes to like the big noises and stuff like that, and he like
Yeah.
freezes up. So yeah, I get that, but I mean, those are a few things that I noticed that were like different from season one, which they're not big things. Like, to me, they're small things that I noticed.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think?
Honestly, I think my only complaint, like I really like the storyline of season 2. I knew like some type of takeover was gonna happen from the get-go. Like I just knew like they had to like do something like that to like reel us in. The only thing, like you said, is just not having all those games and stuff, because that is what you look forward to. You look forward to these games. It's mainly more backstory, how the police, well, he's not a police officer anymore, but the police officer survives and he's trying to search for the island. You know, just more of like that backstory. It would have been nice. Oh, and you know what? Side note too, I wanted to know about the what's their names? The people that came in at the end of the film with the masks. The VIPs. The VIPs. I was like, what's going on with the VIPs? Why you got that face?
I don't remember no VIPs.
The VIPs were the ones that came in the helicopter and they had the animal masks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I looked that up and they're gonna have VIPs show up in season 3.
Okay.
But I just think that they had to split this up so they could give us a season 3. I feel like if they didn't and they did everything like season 1, then it would have been just like
the same stuff over and over.
Yeah, and it would have been done.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I agree with that.
So I don't really have much. Like, I really enjoyed it. I don't really have much besides just I wanted to see more, but they just needed that season 3.
I did just think of one more thing though, that like,
what?
In the end, when they're coming up with the plan of like what to do for the votes, 456, the main guy, he's like, I think we should ambush the guards. We have a better chance. No, you don't. You just lost half your people. All you needed was 1 or 2 people from the other side. And you know, they had a great strategy. Stay under the beds. Just roll over under the beds to the other side while they're coming this way and get them from the back and kill them all.
You should be in the games.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, shoot. The whole rush into the guards, nah, y'all didn't have a shot from the beginning.
But the whole thing is, 456 didn't want to kill the players. He wanted as many players to survive and get out of the game.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's my player instincts coming in if I was in the game. Like, shoot, y'all ain't getting me.
Yeah.
But overall, though, I think it's a really, really strong series. I think people that like part 1 will like part 2. And I'm definitely giving it a recommend. Marissa, what do you think?
Absolutely give it a recommend. I can't wait for season 3 to come out.
Same. And more importantly, we want to know what you guys have to say about this series. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comments down below.
And if you have any other television series or Netflix series that you want us to review, please leave a comment down below so we can turn your idea into reality.
And thank you guys so much for joining us today on Distant Critics.
Thank you.
Peace.